President Trump is facing an impeachment inquiry by the House, and the public has quickly warmed up to the idea. But the biggest question that people overlook is, were any actual laws broken? Join me to answer that question is Farron Cousins from the Trial Lawyer magazine. Farron, as I look at this story, it's kind of you see this hysteria. It's almost breathless hysteria that the Democrats are now known for. Maddow goes on the screen and it's all coming to an end, or, you'll have Joy Reid go on the screen and you'd think, oh my God, it's over. It's foregone conclusion. Nothing is farther from the truth in this story, is it?
Well, there's lots of different pieces to it, especially at the moment as things are just in their infancy. But one of the things we have to look at specifically is what crime was committed. Is it a crime that's actually impeachable? Is it a crime that's part of the U.S. Code? Because not just for impeachment you can impeach on anything, doesn't have to be a specific crime. But if you're going to sell it to the public, you've got to have something to convince them that an actual law was broken. And that's where we're kind of running into a little bit of a problem right now, because even some of the most liberal legal scholars out there have said, listen, what he did, it was wrong, probably an abuse of power, but was there an official statute that he violated? We can't find one. But the abuse of power, again, that is enough, considering what you need to meet the threshold for impeachment. Okay. It was one of Nixon's articles.
Yeah, so here's what we're seeing. This is not a Richard Nixon case. Right. Richard Nixon, we could follow the money. Okay, he hires these cats to break in, steal papers. We know what happened. That's a crime, right? I mean, it's easy to do. Then he commits perjury. That's a crime. That was an easier setup. Actually, if you go back to the Clinton years, where Clinton committed perjury, everybody knew that he perjured himself. The only thing that you had there was the crime of committing perjury, and where did that go? As hard as the Republicans pushed, it really didn't go anywhere. So I'm looking at this case and I'm saying, my God, I've seen this before with the Democrats. The setup to fail. At a time when they need to be talking about real issues, the only candidate out there that's talking about real issues is Elizabeth Warren. Okay, in my estimation. Now, there's other people talking, but nobody's paying attention to them. But this is one where here's what you have to overcome. You have to overcome this broad policy that the president can conduct foreign policy under Article 2. Right. He has very broad policy. And at any point, they can fall back on that very broad policy. You look at it also, can this be characterized as a bribe? Probably not. Was there an exchange that you could characterize as a bribe? Truthfully, you could make the argument, but the chances of it ever really following is not going to succeed. Is it for business purpose? I am going down the checklist right here, and you follow me. Right. Is it for business purpose? Can it be characterized as a bribe? These are problems they can't get past. And they're arguing. You hear, this little character they call Pencil Neck. I'm referred to him as Pencil Neck because I think he's dangerous for the Democratic Party. He's got the Democratic Party, you got Nadler and this Schiff character that are driving the Democratic Party over the cliff, because this is not going to go where the American public, the haters of Trump, want it to go. And I'm no Trump fan. Let me be very clear. Every week we do a dozen stories about the problems with Trump. But I got to be honest about this. This isn't going where it's supposed to go.
Well, when you look at it in terms of, the letter of the law, that is where things get a little cloudy. Public opinion in 8 days, I think this has been going on, has shifted dramatically in favor towards this. So the Democrats have the wind at their back. And I see them screwing it up so phenomenally. Because now, instead of saying, okay, look, we may have him on an actual campaign finance violation for abuse of power, for reaching out to this foreign country, not to kickstart an investigation, but to get dirt on a political opponent. Now, the whole Biden thing, that is a separate part of this as well. But this wasn't to kickstart an investigation. I wanted to go after my opponent. But the Democrats, by trying to also say, well, what's in those Putin phone calls? What's in those Saudi Arabia phone calls? You guys were handed the most perfect little setup here,
with Mueller,
and you decide to, well, what if we overstretch? No, The public was sold on the Ukraine thing. They saw the phone call transcript. They saw the whistleblower complaint.
Yeah.
The public was absolutely at their back, and they're already blowing this 8 days into it.
It's a real danger. The Democrats have got to get organized to beat Trump in 2020. This is not.
You beat him on policy.
You beat him on policy. There's plenty of policy discussions, and I don't know what it is about the Democrats that put so much faith in the hate Trump. Understand, we ran with Hillary Clinton. Hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump.
Right.
You know, the night
75% of the time.
75% of the time it was hate Trump. Did it work? No. All it did is polarized his people even more. So I don't, as I analyze this, I mean, if I'm objectively looking at this as an attorney, and I'm just trying to analyze it just like every other attorney analyzes it, this is not impeachment material. They might find something else, and I think that's what they're trying to do, find something else. The other problem is this opens up the Joe Biden story, which is a pretty ugly story. It's a pretty ugly story. If Hunter, his son, actually, working for this regime, working for this power company, if something was done on his behalf, Joe Biden is opening himself up for a big deal. Understand, the guy, the oligarch that owned this power company,
Burisma,
yeah, he's on the lam right now. He's disappeared. He's run from it. And if you think he's going to come to the aid of Hunter Biden when it's all over.
Well, we'll see. And that's an important distinction to make about the Biden aspect of this, is that Hunter himself was not accused of doing anything wrong or improper.
Right.
And in fact, there was never an investigation into Hunter, into anything Hunter did. And so I think people kind of misconstrue that a bit. But the issue with that is that, did Biden actually legit threaten to withhold the money, which we know it's on video.
He goes on video and says, I withheld the money because I didn't like this prosecutor.
But he was also had most of Europe at his back, the UN at his back on that as well, because they also wanted this prosecutor out, because the prosecutor stopped the investigation. The prosecutor wasn't going after Burisma.
You're opening a big old can of worms, is what I'm saying. It's really tight. It's a tightrope to walk.
Well, and I think, honestly, a lot of Democrats right now would kind of settle for, you know what? Take Biden with you. We're fine with him leaving.
No doubt.